Press record.
Hey.
Can I get a mic check?
Hey, mic check.
Microphone
Check one.
check.
Microphone
check
check
one.
one. Check one.
Yeah, I like that. We're professionals now.
Jeez.
Yeah, we's commentators now.
Hey, how you doing?
Just take it away from him. Under 4 left. The barn is alive again.
Yeah,
52-51, Illinois.
Got me in my hormones, all gas, no brakes, score 4-0. If you think you own this place, you get foreclosed. I've been in my head, but it's not about a T3. Yeah, I like to
I'm
learn,
doing
but there's
good, man.
nothing
How
you
are
can
you?
teach
What's
me.
going
We all
on?
got
You,
opinions.
I feel like I haven't talked or done anything with you this week.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
feels foreign. It's
we
like
were-
we're
Yeah.
it's like we're pen pals.
Well, last week we were too close to each other.
We were
I feel
ve-
like
yeah.
there was too much of us. In fact, the wife even made a comment.
What'd
She's
she
like,
say?
wow, you guys are hanging out a lot this week. I'm like, well, you know what? At least somebody appreciates my...
She got jealous.
Yeah, she got a little jealous.
Yeah,
Isn't
my
it?
wife too. They got
Yeah.
jealous. Oh.
That's okay. Oh, you're making Mitch a French onion soup and a steak? Yeah.
How was that,
You know
though?
what? So last week, we left you guys on a cliffhanger. Episode 239 in your face.
Boom.
Dimitri says, hey, come over. We're watching this Jake Paul, Tommy Fury fight. I said, absolutely we are. We set it all up. I go to your house. P.S. Thanks again. And for anybody that wants to watch a fight with Dimitri, you can't find a better place to watch the fight and or enjoy the ambiance.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Listen, fight night's a big deal
Big deal.
at the Koroli's house. April 22nd. Be there.
So Dimitri pulls out the French onion soup, a little red wine to start. Pardon me? I didn't see this coming.
What else do you do on a Sunday afternoon?
Exactly. Then he pulls out the steaks with a little bit of Greek fries, if you will. Unbelievable. That's not enough. Oh, the fight, pretty good. We'll talk about that in a second. Then he says, hey, do you need a little whiskey there, Mitch? Sure do. Boom, boom, hits me with the whiskey. Then he goes, you know what? Let's, after the fight, let's finish this off nicely. Let's go. It happened to be a decent, nice day. You know, it was getting a little warmer. Let's go to the garage, have a couple cigars. Yeah, it's a Sunday afternoon. Garage wide open, people walking by, and they're going, those two are having a day.
That was a great time. You know what I love? You know what I realized what I missed?
What's that?
And I really love it?
Yeah.
Is the daytime drinking.
Oh,
Love the daytime
love
drink.
it as well.
It's a good time to drink.
P.S. Everybody last week, that podcast, I don't want to say anything. But, I mean, we've done 248 of these things prior to today. That one could have been the best one of all time. In fact, I have reason to believe it was the greatest one of all time.
I'm dubbing it the GOAT of podcasts.
I think it was.
We have big shoes to fill. We got
Huge.
big steaks to cook.
Yeah.
Over here on that. No, hey, I was happy that you came over. I appreciate it.
Hey.
It was really nice.
Had a great time.
It was, yeah. Hey, first of many. But our wives get jealous, eh?
They got a
you know
little
what
upset.
you know why? You know why, Mitch?
I know exactly why.
They don't have friendships like that.
That's true.
They don't get it. They don't understand. They don't. You know, sometimes I wish my wife would go and just go gossip or something.
Yeah, go
or,
do something.
You know, like just I don't know.
But
go,
it's also-
go watch the Thunder Down Under. Do something.
Would you also agree it's also because of how much attention we put? Like, look, they get our attention literally 95% of the time, right?
Totally.
And
Yeah.
then when we go and when you have somebody over like a good friend of yours, you go out, like you pull out all the tricks that you used to on the wife before you met her. And she's your wife and my wife are like, wait a minute, he used to do that for me. He used to think of that stuff. Now we're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Dimitri's coming over. He's allergic to goat milk. I can't give him goat milk. What else we got here? You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. It's like we actually care now. Now it's like with our wives, we're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
what?
good,
Yeah.
yeah.
Peanut allergy? Yeah,
Sure,
okay,
yeah.
whatever.
You're
I
not
don't
over
know.
that
Did
yet?
I ask? No, I forgot to
You're
ask.
not over it yet. Come on.
I had the EpiPen. It was there.
Yeah, celiac, sure. Another one of your suggested diseases. What do you do? Anyways, it was a great
good
time.
one.
It was a good sports
Well,
week.
let's tell everyone what we did see. So we pull up on the DAZN, we get the account up and running, and we start watching the Tommy Fury and the Jake Paul fight. And ladies and gentlemen, last week on this very podcast, we said like we had our predictions and what happened. I'm sure you've seen the Instagrams. Jake Paul pulls off the loss. He loses. Tommy Fury in a split decision. Dimitri will give you a little bit more on that. But I got to admit, he convinced me. He's an actual boxer. He's real. He fought a boxer. Tommy Fury's, we said it last week, comes from a boxing family lineage. He has all the accolades. He's got the look. He's got everything. but he ends up winning in a controversy too. Like a lot of people are saying Jake Paul might have and should have won that fight. Dimitri, thoughts on the Jake Paul and Tommy Fury fight, and then thoughts on the Jake Paul overall. Is this guy maybe looking at a career in this?
Ooh, I like that, Mitch. I like it. Okay, number one, loved the fight, loved the pay-per-view. I told Mitch that day over a cigar and a few glasses of Crown Royal.
Yeah.
I said,
It's good.
No, I said, you know what? I've bought pay-per-views to boxing matches and even MMA fight cards as well, where I've been heavily disappointed, where the expectation going in is that it was going to be a great pay-per-view. And we're talking the big names. This one stacks right up there in terms of entertainment value. That main event was not a boxer versus a YouTuber. It was two competitors in the ring. I found it to be very entertaining. I found myself captivated in it. There were certain periods of time where actually I didn't know which way it was going to go. That's what I really loved about it. Yeah. Up until about the third-ish, third to fourth round, you could see, okay, this is where the experience and Tommy Fury is taking over. But until then, I got to tell you, he belonged in there. He did very well. We called it last week. We said Jake Paul is an overachieving boxing sensation for where he's at in his career record-wise. No amateur background. You got to keep that in mind, you guys. No amateur background whatsoever. Just started 3-4 years ago, really giving it a go.
On a whim.
Now he's fighting, yes, celebrities, yes, MMA fighters, but he has fast-tracked himself extraordinarily. Tommy Fury, same thing, not much of an amateur background, just someone thrown into the pros, and he looked like an 8-0 boxer at cruiserweight, okay? Because, like I said, you have to remember when you see the Canelos and the Mayweathers and everything, they really don't come into their own until they start getting in their 20th professional fight and on. Unless you're someone like Lomachenko, who's had 300 amateur fights.
Right.
Okay, there's a big difference. So those guys are where they are. I thought it was excellent. Jake Paul is a legitimate competitor. He's not yet a legitimate boxer.
Okay.
Because Tommy Fury is not an excellent boxer himself.
Right.
But he completely outboxed him. I think his nerves got to him a little bit. I think he gave too much, tried to give too much disrespect to Jake Paul until he realized, ooh, I'm getting caught with some things. Because if Jake Paul goes into the ring with another cruiserweight at 185 pounds, a real boxer like that, he's out very, very quickly.
Agreed.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to disrespect him because he did look pretty good in there. But if they did do the rematch, I'd actually probably say that Tommy Fury will end it quick.
Yeah, two things I got out of the fight is exactly that. I mean, Jake Paul did knock him down in the final in the 8th round. He knocked him down, clean shot, knocked Tommy down. Tommy still wins in that split decision, so it just goes to show that Tommy was pretty much leading that whole fight. And then that knockdown kind of made people think like it could go either which way. Secondly, I mean, you call him the loser, I call him the winner, because at $25 million, his take on the pay-per-view versus Tommy's 7, I mean, okay, sure, on paper you lost, but in life you won. And then finally, Tommy Fury, listen, they gave you a belt at the end. I respect that. But it's not a real belt. So stop walking around like it's some sort of belt that, like, you know, somebody's going to fight you for it. Get it? Put it over the mantle.
Totally.
I respect it. I get it. But I think it's funny. He looked like a kid at WWE that's walking around that bought it at the concession.
Hey,
and
don't
he's
knock
walking around.
those
He's like,
kids.
hey, take a look at
Don't
this.
knock those kids.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I do the same thing. The difference is it's not a real belt. So that's all I'm going to say. You know what I mean? Overall, good fight. Great turnout. Huge turnout.
I was going to say, I didn't answer your second part of the question, I guess, about the fight. Listen, you guys, I know... Look, Tommy Fury clearly won the fight, okay?
Yeah.
It was 6 rounds to 2. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's exactly what it was. It was the first judge, not sure what he was watching, but that's why you have judges at different sides of the ring, okay?
That's true.
To get different perspectives.
Still
but
weird.
The reality is the second and third judge, the 76-73, they scored the bout absolutely correct.
Yeah.
That takes into account the point deductions and the knockdown. He clearly won the fight. And the thing, too, is I always watch big boxing fights again. I watch them twice because the first time you're just caught up into it.
That's right, yeah.
When I watched it again, it was overwhelmingly convincing that Tommy Fury completely outboxed him. And that knockdown, I don't want to. I give credit to Jake Paul because it was just a great stiff jab that went in there.
Yeah.
But he just caught him off balance and slipped. And it's because Tommy Fury decided to like really go in there with his hands down and try to throw. Like I said, Tommy Fury's not fighting like that against someone of equal value.
Well, look, I like what Jake Paul said at the end. He goes, "Don't judge me on my wins, judge me on my losses."
No.
I think he was humble in his loss. I think he kind of knows. If you ask him today, a week
later. Did he
later,
rip that off from DiCaprio, Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street?
I think he did.
Like, you can't.
Well, you can. We do it all the time.
Do we?
We steal every single
No, we quote. But
yeah.
we hold on.
Oh, you think he's taking it for himself?
Yes.
Maybe, possibly.
Yeah, no, we quote.
We do quote.
And we pay homage to the quote.
We do homage to the quote.
But
that's true.
We don't take it. I don't sit there. I don't do that.
At $25 million.
We have a guest. Look at
who's this?
Look at this. Hi, Huey. How are you?
What's going on?
We're good. Look at it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Healy who does the German show right before us.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, you're live on camera.
Yeah.
wow.
No, because I phoned Healy during the show.
Yeah, you told me. Yeah.
Yeah, and and so it was tough.
That's funny.
That's a nice trip.
Yeah.
There you go. See, we don't lie. We do the Greek show.
We do the Greek show. There it is.
A lot of
right
drama
now.
behind the scenes.
So
here.
what happened is last week when we did the podcast, we do the Greek show. We pre-record it. Okay, so we pre-recorded the show, but no one was here.
Yeah.
And so I phoned Healy. That's why she came in. And I phoned her, and she was, the poor woman. She doesn't get technology too much. Hey, neither do we, for that
Especially
matter.
me.
But it was weird. So that was sweet. She came in for the apology. That's 2 people 2 weeks in a row that have walked in on this. Hey,
That's do we have to get a lock?
we're big time. That's
We
why.
are. This is kind of big
This
deal.
is
It's kind of a big
celebrity
deal.
status.
Yeah, exactly.
I was really hoping she'd join us. Hey?
That would be really funny. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get down to it. We talked about the Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. That was fun. Dimitri's house was excellent. Let's get into March 3rd. Yesterday, NHL dump and chase. It was trade deadline day in the NHL. We're going to start with the power play list. Why? Because it'll take us right into all the crazy trades that did end up happening over the last, let's call it 48 hours, right up until the end, okay? At number 5, it's the Las Vegas Golden Knights and the Ottawa Senators tied.
Tied?
Remember, the judge on these power play is on the curve. What have you done for me lately? And we'll talk about both those teams doing a little something at the end there. I like what they did. At number 4, it's Carolina. They also pulled off a good trade. They're still playing really well. This team, the Hurricanes, your team, Dimitri's team, they're doing it. The team that's
for you, George. It's for you, George.
The team that's been leading the pack all the way through. And ladies and gentlemen, they have a goalie that's even scoring goals now. It's the Boston Bruins. Good luck to all of you teams because you're going to need it. You're going to need it.
Who is this guy, Hextall?
Even Hextall's going, that guy's good.
Wow.
At number 2, it's the New York Rangers. Why? You'll find out soon. And at number 1, it breaks me. It breaks me. Everyone on my team knows how much I hate these guys, but I like them too because I got to respect them. It's the Edmonton Oilers at number 1.
Acknowledge me.
It's so true.
Ugh.
It's so true.
Ugh.
So who's number 1 on the shorthanded list? Ladies and gentlemen, it's a team that we said it right before we started. They're schizophrenic. They don't know what they want. One day they're rebuilding. One day they're retooling. It's the Vancouver Canucks. They've sold everything. But they're not moving. Like when you have a garage sale, you're like, honey, we're going to get rid of everything. And you ended up selling your car and you don't know how you sold your car, but you got a decent price for it. But now you don't have a car anymore.
And then you go and take all and go, honey, now that we got all the money, we need to buy a car.
Yeah.
Of lesser value.
Like Canuck fans, you guys know how we feel about you. We've said it once, we'll say it again.
They literally... They're the dumbest. I'm okay with saying that you are the dumbest team in the NHL, not Canada.
Yeah,
the NHL.
Yeah,
and it makes me happy. I love watching.
It's
how does a team go from giving away their top players, their prospects for the most part, and giving away a first rounder?
Yeah, I mean they're like, what? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Well, he's available. We got a first round. We'll get him. Thank you. Bye. I love you.
And then they called the wife like, honey, you're not going to believe I fleeced them. I got him. Remember that Calgary trade during the offseason? Yeah, I did the same thing. It's so ridiculous.
Oh my
so
God.
Ridiculous. So Vancouver, you're number one on the shorthand
You
list.
guys are just dumb.
Let's get into the trades that happened by the teams that are actually trying to win it.
Dumb.
So Bozer, another guy, he got traded weeks ago. Lou Amorello, he as a guy that's like he's got to be in his 80s or close to his 80s, still general manager of the Islanders. He goes, I got to do this early, like the early bird special at Perkins. He goes, I got to make this trade early. I can't be fighting with these guys at the
Tiger. Don't worry, I got the bill.
I got it. Tiger, hey, where'd the waitress go?
Why don't you meet me at Perkins for the early bird?
So he gets Bozer early. The Rangers make a move and get Tarasenko early. And there's some other ones. Okay, we're going to get to the Rangers in a second. Real quick, we talked about the Ryan O'Reilly trade, which I'm going to ask you to give me your top three, who you think won the trade deadline award, I guess, if you want to call it that, Dimitri.
Oh, yeah.
So we got Ryan O'Reilly. Toronto makes a move kind of within that last week. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, actually, sorry. That was a great move, and he's really panned out. Even the other night against the Calgary Flames, the dude was dominant, doing everything. He's been, everything you sell on that guy is true. He is a great locker room guy. He's a great presence on the ice. You got to respect him at all times. This dude, this is why I remember Calgary sent out that offer sheet, Dimitri, and we almost got burnt on it, if you remember.
Yeah, I do.
He was worth the burn had we gotten him. I really do believe it. Like, this is that kind of player. You look at now Boston Bruins. Let's start with Boston, okay? Boston Bruins, the number one team in the league, goes, you know what? Is there a guy out there that we can tweak and bring in who's good? We don't want to wreck the chemistry. Oh, Taylor Hall, we're going to put him on LTIR, $6 million off the books for a few months. Tyler Bertuzzi from the Red Wings comes over. I love that trade.
Yeah,
I think that's a great trade. What do you think on the Boston?
I think Boston did the exact right thing they're going to do if they're going to do a move, right? Get that young prospect in there. He's not working out in Detroit. It's not really happening for him. Maybe get him in where he doesn't need to be. He can just come into a better system for himself. I love what Boston did. However, on the we'll get to the other teams.
Yeah.
Actually, you got your agenda. Yeah.
What about San Jose sending Timo Meier, who a lot of people think was maybe the best prospect out there, going to Jersey? Again, great move. This one had a couple of moving parts to it, but bottom line, it's Timo Meier over to Jersey. This team, we've seen it before. They can rip a 13-gamer. They've been right in the middle. They're good in their division. They're doing exactly what they got to say, and this only makes them stronger, I would imagine.
Great. Again, I love what Boston and Jersey are doing. They're just bringing in players that are just helping, not game. They don't need anything game changing. They're already two of the top teams in the league. I love it. You know what? Tino Meier, for me, I was hoping Pittsburgh would get him. I was like, ugh.
Well,
I wish we had him.
Speaking of Toronto again for a quick minute, they said, hey, goaltending, we think we figured it out. Not really. But we brought in a defenseman. We brought in O'Reilly. And the defenseman they brought in, Luke Schenn, coming over to play for Toronto. Thoughts on Luke Schenn to Toronto?
It's indifferent for me. I mean, if he's a third-line D-man, just to have some presence and some size, or, I don't mind that Toronto's actually just trying to bolster their D a little bit.
Yeah.
They did a move on forward. They did a move on D. There's not much more that you can do. Again, Toronto, you have 4 studs that have to be the people to take you to the promised land.
Here's a guy that a couple of years ago was dubbed maybe a great little pick. Now he's moved around the last couple of years. I'm talking about Max Domi, leaving Chicago, going to Dallas. Dallas also obviously very strong in the Central Division. Thoughts on Max Domi going to Dallas?
I like that.
Yeah.
Very nice little tenacious player.
And you know what? He fits that mold over there.
Yeah, I like what's going on over there.
Yeah, I do. I think so. A guy that was on Dallas, he was on Dallas a long time ago. He ended up going to Anaheim last year, and everyone was wondering where he's going to go. It's John Klingberg. He goes to Minnesota. Calgary takes on Minnesota tonight. I think this guy might be the steal of the draft, in my humble opinion.
This is exactly what I wish, a team like Minnesota would do.
Yeah.
And they did. That just solidifies for me, Minnesota's in, Calgary, you're out. That's the nail in the coffin. Now, is it a cup-winning move?
Right.
No, but maybe. I mean, it just, Minnesota's that type of team.
Right.
It was a great move.
It was, honestly, to your point, man, I hate to admit this, Minnesota did exactly.
They punched their ticket.
They punched their ticket. I think you're right.
Yeah.
If this works out, I mean, offensive defenseman, moving the puck around, that's what kind of Minnesota needed. And I mean, they're right there in the hunt, if not like ready to jump over Calgary. Yeah, I hate to say it. That to me was maybe the most, of all the teams, that one could be the one that really propels a team forward, right?
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
Here's one. I said it last week. I didn't think the trade was going to happen because, hey, Arizona, I don't know what you guys are up to these days, but this guy's been on the block for a while. He's young. He's tenacious. It's Jacob Chychrun. He leaves the unhappy Arizona going to Ottawa. Now, at the beginning of the year, everyone had Ottawa as the team to beat. This is going to be the up-and-comers. Now, they're making a little bit of a run themselves. Maybe they make that last playoff ticket. I don't know. But watch out again for next year. I hate saying it already for next year, but Jacob Chychrun to Ottawa.
Watch out for Ottawa, teams like the Ottawa and the Detroit in the few years to come, right? In terms of, who's going to come from the bottom and make it into the playoffs. I thought this was excellent. You know why? Because this wasn't just a playoff move. This was a future move. This is what I really loved about what the Senators did with this pick. So it was great. Yeah, they still could, because there's that, I think Pittsburgh's on a bit of a heater. Yeah. I think they're going to stay in there. Yeah. And the Islanders, I don't know if they got enough juice.
We'll see.
That's going to be tough.
Lou's going to have your answer by 5 o'clock every day. You know what I mean? He doesn't work past 5.
He doesn't work past 5.
No, he doesn't go past 5 o'clock. I thought this movie, it's not a big deal at all, but I kind of liked it. Jonathan Quick, backup goalie to the Vegas Golden Knights. I don't know. I kind of like it.
Like it.
Yeah.
Like it. You want to ask me what was my move of the whole draft?
Sure.
That one.
You think so?
I'm telling you.
Right.
Jonathan Quick, you guys, you don't just not learn how to play goalie anymore. You don't just wake up and suck anymore.
Right.
Get him in the playoffs, which he will be. I'm telling you. The Golden Knights have instantly, because of this, become my favorite in the West.
What?
Instantly.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's a big deal.
I wasn't going to put it in. I won't lie to you. I wasn't sure if it was that big of a deal.
To me, I was like, wow.
I thought so too.
They have everything covered now. I'm telling you, this was a deal sealer.
Well, if you like that one, then I'm curious to find out, and we'll get to the two biggest names that I think happened in the trade deadline. It's Patrick Kane. He has now moved over to the New York Rangers. This was the talk of the year. Where is he going to go? It was almost inevitable. You knew he wasn't going to go like Chicago to Columbus. He wasn't going to go to like a crappy team. Edmonton apparently had a couple of ideas of bringing him over. That didn't work out because they need money for money. They're kind of tight to the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Kane, three-time Stanley Cup champion, couple won Hart Trophy and all the great accolades, best maybe American player of all time, going to the Rangers. Now you look at this Rangers team: Tarasenko, Panarin, Kane, Zibanejad, right? Fox, Shesterkin. This team's pretty stacked, man.
So I'm really excited. They're going to be a really hard team to play against. Here's the thing, though. In the East, if you're not this good like what they've done, you might not have a chance.
That's a good point.
To even go. The East is pretty stacked, you guys. Like, here's what's crazy.
Right.
Kane goes to the Rangers. They have the defense, they have the offense, they have the goal, they have everything.
Yeah.
And I still pick Boston over them.
Yeah.
That's how ludicrous the East is.
Okay.
I still think if you play a Tampa or Toronto, you could be in trouble. If you catch the Penguins on a good day, you're in trouble. That's what's crazy about this. It's a big move.
Right.
But I don't know what's going to happen over there. I don't know.
I agree. I mean, it's all about
Sorry
chemistry.
to cut you off.
Yeah.
If this was in the West,
right,
where let's say Patrick Kane went to a team like
Vegas,
Vegas or Colorado.
Sure.
Oh, perfect. You just punched your ticket. You're going.
Yeah.
In the East, good. Now you guys have a chance to make the final.
You know, you brought him up, and thanks for bringing him up. Colorado really didn't do anything. Thoughts on Colorado?
A little handcuff.
Yeah, they are.
You're a little handcuffed.
Plus, you know what? They're injured right now. If that team gets healthy right at the right time, it's one of those things, right?
Yeah, you don't need to rush to make a move, especially as a franchise when you just won the Stanley Cup.
Right.
Fans don't give a
Well,
crap.
here's the last trade. I left them last for a reason because we got to rant them a little bit. And I called them number one on the power play list this week. It's the Edmonton Oilers grabbing Matthias Ekholm from the Nashville Predators. He's a stay-at-home defenseman, good player, going to give you those 20 to 25 minutes, maybe more. But this team needed a defenseman. They got it. Dimitri, I got to be honest. Here's the thing. Everyone knows. I want to see Connor McDavid get traded. Why? Not because I don't like him. Not because he's not ripping up the league. I just want to see, does he actually get an NHL franchise in return for one guy? Which I'm still 100% guaranteed that's going to happen, okay? Last night, I'm watching them play on the Winnipeg Jets, who are number 1 or number 2, depending on the day, against Dallas in the Central, and they kicked the crap out of them 6-3.
The Oilers are on a 2-game extreme heater.
Extreme heater. Here's another thing, Edmonton fan. Wednesday night, respect to Team LS, winning our first playoff game in the basketball, 60-59. Yeah, we did it. We pull it off. We pull up at the local Scoons where we go for our beers after. I look up and I see some Edmonton Oiler pummeling some Toronto Maple Leaf guy. Jersey gets turned around. It's number 93. I'm like, what? Nugent Hopkins? Nugent Hopkins is dropping the gloves and pounding somebody?
I think he's on a career goal high, too.
Everybody on that team right now. When you got the Nuge, who was number 1 pick overall a couple of years ago, scoring and fighting, where I didn't even think that guy could lift weights, you got McDavid on a heater, Draisaitl, you got Ekholm now. Ladies and gentlemen, I might have picked the wrong Alberta team to go to the Stanley Cup at the beginning of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, if Edmonton keeps going this way, and I work with a lot of Oiler fans, I'm going to be eating my words. But the Oilers, I think you called it, you say, then maybe it's the name of this podcast, Punching Your Ticket. The Oilers are on their way to the Stanley Cup.
Mitch, I like what they did. You know, they tried to do this with Larson from New Jersey years ago, where they just had someone who wasn't exactly on the point, shut down defenseman, didn't work out. I think they're trying it again here. This was a very right move for them, right? If there's anything I've learned in the NHL in the last however long while is, as long as you got pretty good goaltending, but a good team, you can do it. You can make it, right? And I don't know, I'm not overly sold on Skinner, but I don't think he's the worst guy out there.
No.
As long as but they did the right thing. But dude, Edmonton is pretty Edmonton's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Edmonton's pretty scary, man. Like and everyone's mad.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I was gonna use the word everyone's got a chip on their shoulder right now.
And you don't want that.
No.
Like, you don't want when someone's just angry and just enough is enough. Like, man.
That's right.
It's like me when I used to upset my dad.
Yeah. You don't want that. Exactly. You know, you can only poke the beast so much, right? You know what I mean? One last trade that happened. I mean, here's the thing, Calgary. I think this could be the reason why we're having some problems. When we trade Brett Ritchie for Nick Ritchie, so we're trading brothers. We're trading, and I do believe, did we not have Dougie Hamilton and his other Hamilton brother here at one time? Like, we are the masters here in Calgary of the brotherly relationship. But in this case, Brad goes, no. Trade Nick for Brett. What? Why? Why did you need to make this trade just to be on the paper? Like, why was this trade made?
It's like a sick version of like the dating game. Like, if me and you went out and met sisters and we're like, oh man, and just did you want the other one? I did. Yeah. I did want the other one. Well, how are we supposed to make it work? Okay, let me think of something.
It's so weird. It's like Daryl's like, listen, man, I don't know. Let's get rid of Richie. Okay. But what if we bring back a Richie?
Then no one will know because it'll just be one Richie.
He's a fan favorite. They'll never know.
The whole league will be taken by surprise. Oh, Calgary didn't make any moves. And there we are in the playoffs.
Part of the negotiation is he has to wear the same jersey number. Wait a minute. Wasn't he number 25?
That makes Calgary the second dumbest team in the league.
Funny when I saw the trade. Yeah. Well, like, it's one thing, okay, you can make a couple of roster moves which were useless, and then you see the brother for brother. You're like it's not even nice, right?
But
like,
no wonder the Americans look at us funny. Like,
can you imagine they were talking to each other on the phone? Yeah. They're like, "Hey, it's trade down. Did you get traded?" No. And then, bing, bing. Oh, hold on.
I got traded for you.
What? Wait, what the? Is this? Did you? I got traded for you. It's like your mom and dad going, all right, we're just gonna switch. You take Nick this way, and I'll take Brett this way. Like, you know what I mean? You take him to hockey at 6, and then you take the other guy at 7. Like, what?
Oh, Calgary.
So ridiculous.
Oh, great.
Way to go, guys.
This
Way to
is
go.
awesome.
You got Minnesota pulling off great trades, and we're sitting here trading brothers.
So, can I tell you about one team, one organization?
Sure.
One man.
Yeah.
Who, in my opinion, is the winner of all winners.
Sure.
It's one Steven Yzerman.
Oh, yeah.
Buddy.
Yeah.
I have no idea how this guy
Right.
pulls things off.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like the modern day Jimmy P.
He
Doesn't matter what he tells you to your face. It works.
Well, you know what he's doing?
How many first round picks
This is what I'm saying.
does this guy have with a team that could even still make the playoffs now?
Right.
That everyone's you signed Larkin to a long-term contract.
Beautiful
Now
guy.
you got all these round 1 picks for the next couple of years. It's almost like for somehow, like here we are trading brothers,
Right.
making sure the league doesn't notice because they have the same last name.
Yeah.
Like we're playing Risk or something stupid. And meanwhile, this other guy over here
Right.
is he's a magician.
Can I say something? You got Brad Treliving, who at the beginning of the year, and I still think he did a great job. I'm not going to cut him down because he was thrown a really bad hand.
He did a great job.
But where he made a mistake, and to your point, Yzerman waited and said, "Hey Larkin, you want that money? You want that term? Show me what you can do." Why did Brad have to sign these guys all right away? The Kadri one, I'm okay with. I mean, he was an all-star this year. Whatever. The Huberdeau and the Weezer. I'm not saying they're playing bad, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have got their money, but you could have waited. You could have waited.
Yeah.
Make them earn it.
You make him earn it. Yeah, don't be afraid to lose. But Yzerman has turned the Detroit Red Wings into, it's almost like they're an expansion league next year.
Yeah.
And they just got a bunch of new players and traded for picks like Seattle and Vegas did.
I
I don't know how this guy does it.
I think it's because the owners say, hey, we know who you are. You're a trusted person in the city of Detroit. We trust you. Here are the keys to the Porsche. Do what you will. And Yzerman, instead of being a crazy, reckless guy and driving it at 100 miles in a 50 zone, he goes, I'm gonna test this out. And he does. Where I think here in Calgary, if we're gonna compare apples to apples, I just think the owners are like, no, Brad, you got to win right now. Your job's on the line. Do this, do that. Because in all honesty, you're right, man. I think like when you look at Calgary versus Detroit, trust me when I tell you, they're kind of like similar in some ways. Like people aren't yearning to come to either city.
No,
you know what I mean?
no.
So you can't use that.
There's
You know
not a
what I mean?
big yearn.
There's not a yearn.
It's not an overwhelming yearn.
What I'm saying to you is Calgary should, like, if you're going to compare, more people I would imagine want to come to Calgary.
Right.
But with all due respect, Yzerman's playing the long game, man. He's like, no, it's okay. Let's take our
The
time.
long
here."
game.
The long game. There it is.
There it is.
Speaking of the long game, we haven't talked about it all year long.
You're
Let's just
welcome.
get into it. A little NBA action.
Oh, I
I
like
was
that.
going to do baseball because I want to talk to you about the pitch counting. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring it up real quick.
Okay.
So they got the new pitch, the new timer on the pitchers. They have 20 seconds to throw a pitch and 8 seconds for the batters to go in and out of the box.
Right.
Do you like, not like?
I love. Come on, speed this game up for crying out loud.
Right.
I don't want to sit there for 9 minutes. Like you think the last minute of the NBA is grueling? How about watching an overweight guy at bat with 4 pounds of chew in his mouth, spitting on the corner, waiting for it?
Yeah.
7 pitches in the span of 10 minutes, and it's the 3rd inning. No wonder they stretch.
I've
never seen a game that is so unathletic that they need to stretch in the middle of it. I've never seen this.
The only thing I would say about it is, man, they're implementing a lot of changes right away. Like the pitch count. Next year is going to be the umpires. It's like there's a lot going on in a game that's like layered in tradition, layered in history.
Speed it up,
you know what? I want the season to go by. I like the idea of it, but I've seen some highlights right now, and it's like a little awkward. It's like they're really pushing these guys to like, if you don't throw the ball in 20 seconds, it's an automatic ball to the if you're not back in the batter's box in 8 seconds, it's an automatic strike. It's like, it's stressful to kind of, not for me as the player, but it's awkward. Awkward for the watcher, must be stressful to both parties there. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, it's your turn to bat.
Right.
Get up.
Yeah. Just stand
Take
there.
your practice swing.
Boom. Yeah.
Get going.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
No. Nomar Garciaparra, if you remember him, he would be struck out every play because he took like 45 seconds every time to adjust his gloves and hats and whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, come on, get going.
Okay, so that's a baseball. We'll get into baseball.
Baseball should be no more than 2 hours.
We got 7 months for baseball. We'll get to that in a minute. I just wanted to bring that up because they're doing NBA. The Milwaukee Bucks are on a 16-game heater. This team is fire right now. Little respect to our boy Giannis. I want to talk to you about load management. It's been the talk of the week. Your thoughts on load management?
Well, look, you don't want to blow your load too early, right?
Well, who does?
You know,
who
so
does?
you have to, you have to manage it a little bit.
Right.
I just don't see
right
at a high competitive level in an athletic sport that it makes that much of a difference.
Right.
I got to be honest with you. Like, I can understand sometimes maybe you want to pull a guy back in a game,
mm-hmm.
but what are we doing here? To me, this is like working from home, Mitch.
Yeah.
Really? Do you
said.
Do you really need to work from home? Like, do you really need it now?
Uh-huh.
You were so used to showing up to the office 5 days a week. Now you got to have 3 or 4. Sorry,
That's
you guys. Point. You were used to working the 48 minutes a game or whatever it is that you logged. I mean, I'm going on the max end, but you were used to playing your 40 minutes. Now you need 35.
Right.
Now you need to take 1 day off here or there. No.
See,
I'm with you. Whole point of athletics.
I'm with you on that exactly.
Excuse me. What's next?
Yeah.
What's next? You're going to run the 100-meter dash and say, listen, every 4th race, it's going to be 60 meters.
That's a good point.
Load management. Hey, you want your load management? Ready!
No, you know what? I agree with you. Here's the thing. Why, if you were the kind of player that, to your point, you were, let's say, going to play the full game, like you were never going to come off, how about rather than not playing, your coach just says, okay, you know what? You're still dressing. Because at the end of the game, at the end of the time, you look at NHL players versus NBA players. These guys get knocked into the boards. They're blocking shots. They're playing on skates. It's an unnatural thing. And then you got guys that are playing basketball that are going, I don't feel like playing today, or I need a day off. No. How about you don't play 48 minutes, you play 35 minutes, or play 30. Or hey, the coach just plays the numbers and says, today you're going to play 10 minutes. Because we have a big game against Boston tomorrow. Well, whatever. To say you're not going to play at all, I think is such a disrespect to all the crowd and the people that pay good money to come watch you guys play, man. So,
Mitch,
I'm a big. I don't like this load management. I thought it was creative and smart when it first started, but now it's completely taken over the game, and I don't like it at all.
It's stupid. Listen, time and place for everything. If you have a star player and you've made the playoffs, and you say, "Listen, we don't want to overdo it before the playoffs. We've already solidified our position. Maybe we'll take a little bit of time off here.
Sure.
Okay, fine. You do all that.
Right.
I can understand it to a degree. And listen, for me, load management. Yeah, maybe when you're an aging player, then I can get it. I'm sorry. Not in your late 20s, early 30s. You don't need to take the time off, respectively, in that sport. Come on.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Last thing, the Phoenix Suns, we've been sitting on it for a couple of weeks. They made a big trade at their deadline, and they got, obviously, Kevin Durant to come over. So you got Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, Devin Booker. A lot of analysts, speaking of, and Charles Barkley is one of them, he doesn't think that even if Phoenix pulls off this win, it shouldn't count on their, more or less, he's turning around going, you guys are loading the team again. I don't like these super teams. I don't like any of this stuff. He's basically calling Durant out. You can't win unless you have superstars around you. Thoughts on if that was to happen, would you give the accolades to Durant or not?
Look, when you win, you win.
That's what I was thinking too.
Listen, hold on a second. Yeah. Hold on a second, Barkley. In all fairness, I do agree with him that if you think you're a great player, right, then you want the players around you. That's been the difference between a Jordan, a LeBron, a Kobe. These are the guys that say, I'm the star of the show. Let's bring in people, right? I'll lead you. True. Durant's not that guy. You're right. In OKC, he couldn't do it. When he went to Golden State, it's not because of him. I mean, he helped. I'm just saying, it's a Steph Curry team.
Right.
Actually, if anything, for me, it was a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Durant, year 3 team.
True.
Same thing here.
Yeah.
But Barkley, at the same time, if people can afford it and people want to go there and they want to win, what are you going to do? Especially it's rich coming from someone like him when all we had in your era was super teams.
Right.
You're just mad because this is your team and you couldn't cut it.
Right. So wait a minute. You're saying Barkley when Barkley played, there wasn't super teams. Is that what you're trying to say?
What are you talking about?
Okay, name one.
Chicago?
Buddy, Chicago was just that. But hold on. Chicago was like, hold on a second. Those teams were formatted. They didn't go out and get like those teams like drafted and became superstars. There wasn't like right now, buddy, to your point, you made a really good point. Kevin Durant has played with Westbrook and Harden on one team.
Yeah.
Then he was in Brooklyn with Irving and what's that other malaka's name?
In Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. What's his name? Sims. And then he goes to Golden State. Now he's on a team where he's got Devin Booker and Chris Paul. Like, I think what he's saying is like, dude, what you said earlier, the Lakers, like a Kobe Bryant, he was the staple, and they came around him.
Yeah.
He's been the one moving around, and he's like, I think more or less saying, dude, you can't seem to win unless you have superstars around you.
No, I agree with him.
Yeah.
When we're talking about Durant or whatever. But on the other side, getting mad about these super teams,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, buddy.
hold on. I agree.
Yeah, let's call it what it is. In the 80s and the 90s, all you had was super teams and the same people over and over and over and over going after each other. Whether it was Celtics, Lakers, Bulls. Name me anyone else. Maybe you can throw the Pistons in there if you want to.
Pistons,
you know.
for sure, yeah.
And okay, outside of that, name me a team that was anything in those 20 years.
Correct, but the difference was, and I think you're kind of what you're doing right now is you're playing those teams of the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s. They were like a team that was solidified for many years, right? And that's why they were competitive for all those years.
Yeah.
What Barkley's saying is like, you don't like something? Oh, I didn't win this game. Trade me.
I agree.
Move me here. Move me there.
I agree with him.
And I'm with you on the part that
I agree with him.
Durant can't win unless he's got superstars around him.
Yeah.
That part. And so when Barkley says something like, well, you can't win, he's kind of right on that end. But guess what? This is the world that we live in now. These super teams are formatted at all times.
Yeah, but
at all times.
Mitch, right. But the other thing I'm saying too is that imagine if Durant never went to a Golden State.
I agree.
Because he did win a like Golden State, I'm sorry, would never be a significant franchise, not just because of Durant, but that was an icing on the cake that, those years, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if Milwaukee would never be on the map. Cleveland would never be on the map.
Right.
Like, a lot of these teams would never be on the map. And during that era too, I mean, come on, like Barkley, you were just at the tail end of it. I think of Shaq. Shaq did the same thing.
Yes, absolutely he did.
Right?
Exactly.
So that stuff has always still been going around. It's just, I understand what he's saying and I agree with it from the Durant perspective.
Right.
But you can't get mad because your league is structured that way. If you want to solve the problem, it's very simple. It's called the NHL salary cap, and you end it all right there.
I agree with you.
Enough with this luxury tax, because the luxury tax is useless to me. Yeah. Okay?
Agreed.
The luxury tax.
Baseball's proven it for years.
Like, there you go.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, I agree from Durant won't get his personal accolades because he's just a little, he's a little putana that just goes,
just goes wherever
he
wind
can, right?
takes
Whatever
him,
back alley will get him to the promised land. Hey, I can't disrespect it.
Hey,
I admire it in some respects. But no, outside of that, when he came from an era of super team.
That's right. Exactly. Agreed. We agreed to disagree, but we agreed.
Yeah. It's weird.
I don't know. You were a little upset. Take it easy. I was on your side. I was just trying to tell you. Anyways, we go. It's rapid banter. Okay. All right. The 2015 NHL draft had names like Mitch Marner, Mikko Rantanen, Sebastian Aho, and this guy named Connor McDavid. Connor has 802 points. Mitch is second on that list with 526. That's 276 difference, and Connor's missed one season. Crazy stat, or why didn't Connor get 900 points?
She's still great.
Linus Ullmark has 30 wins and 1 goal this season. Is this the best player or best performance you've ever seen by a goalie?
MVP of all sports this year.
Yeah. Former Flame Mark Giordano now holds the record for most blocked shots all time, 2,044. Impressive, or not that crazy.
Good thing we traded for his brother.
Does he have a brother?
No,
we might have traded for him. Who knows? I bet you we did.
My name is Mark Giordano.
National Park Wildlife Services have told people if a bear attacks, don't push the slower friend down. Thoughts?
No, you have to.
You have to.
You have.
You got to.
Yeah,
I mean, we did a whole pod about this.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah,
to. You
exactly.
got to.
Last one. A bride last week was horrified after catching her husband, like right before the wedding, was being breastfed by his mama before the ceremony. Stop the wedding, or I mean, we already gave the DJ half his money.
That's quite the cappuccino.
Now, if you're that dude,
Mitch, I don't want. I
if
just
you're
don't want
that
any.
dude,
There's
I
many.
just want to know,
So many questions.
What? Well, there's only really one. What is wrong with you? That's it. There it is. You're about to get married.
Do you grab the other one while you're like at that point? You can just move on.
Like what?
So
No,
gross.
It's so wrong.
Just move on.
I am. Okay. We're off to Maga or Malaka. I got 2 of them this week.
Oh.
Okay. So what happened this week, Vladimir Putin decided to make his buddy, Steven Seagal, he gave him an honorary thing that they do in Russia. It's called the Friendship Award. I'm not joking you. He honored him with the Friendship Award. So Maga Malaka, who would you make if you had the opportunity to give somebody the Friendship Award? Who would you make? Or B, saw a list of the worst actors and actresses, Maga Malaka, worst actors, actresses, or the Friendship Award?
Friendship Award.
Friendship Award it is. Here we go. Elon Musk, would you give him the Friendship Award? Maga or Malaka?
Yeah, MAGA.
MAGA.
I think we'd get
he's
along.
doing along for society.
I think we'd get along great.
What's the big deal? He's just trying to get us to Mars. Hey, thanks. Here's one for you. Jerry Seinfeld.
MAGA.
Yeah, he'd
MAGA.
be a good friend, I think.
Come on.
Doesn't curse at all or anything like that.
I'd get him to baptize one of my kids.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. Ellen DeGeneres, MAGA or Malaka?
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna say MAGA. I think deep down Ellen's one of the boys. You know what I mean?
So?
Yeah, I think. I think behind the scenes is someone. She's got some good raw comedy. I think so.
You know what? I don't know if I'd like her because I mean I can only go off what people are saying, and now she's been kind of canceled. Apparently, she was a very mean person.
Yeah, she has a high expectation. What can you do?
I don't know. Is that what it is?
It's her world.
All right, here's one for you. Would you bestow the Friendship Award on Daryl Sutter, pardon me. I don't know.
No, Malaka. I don't think we'd click, man.
I think he'd.
I think
give
he'd
you a
be
hard
judging
time.
me all the time.
I think so too.
Just looking and judging.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're
so.
having another drink? Shut up, Daryl. Yeah, I am having another whiskey with Mitch.
How about this guy? Now you gotta like him. Yeah, I just because of what he's been able to do. Kirk Cousins, MAGA or Malaka.
You know what? Every good group needs like a little scapegoat. I'm going to say MAGA.
MAGA.
Just because, I think, you know what? I think he's a dude actually behind the scenes. Like
He's gone this far.
He would actually, I think he'd make so much money. He's like, Dimitri, don't worry. I got your ticket to Vegas.
Exactly.
But with Minnesota money.
It seems like everyone has become this guy's best friend. Like he was popular before, but since COVID, I think he's blown up. Joe Rogan, MAGA or Malaka? Would you give him the Friendship Award?
Yeah, I'm going to go MAGA.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm going to go MAGA.
I think if anyone can take sports show to the next level, it's this guy.
We got a lot in common.
Yeah.
Hunters, podcasters.
Yeah.
It's good.
Drinkers.
Yeah. Cigar smokers.
Here's one for you. Leonardo DiCaprio, Friendship Award, MAGA or Malaka?
You know what? Believe it or not, I'm going to say Malaka.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think he'd be a little dink.
Okay, here's one for you. You have to choose one or the other. Giselle or Tom Brady. You can only give one award out to one or the other. Who do you give it to?
For a Friendship Award?
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Come on, he's done more.
No. You know why? You can't give the award to Giselle. Our wives would kill us. What are you giving it to her for?
I never got a Friendship Award.
Yeah, why didn't I get one? You make Dimitri that steak. You crazy? We can't give it to Giselle.
Yeah, Tom Brady. We would just have more to talk about.
3 more. Justin Trudeau, Friendship Award, MAGA or Malaka?
Malaka.
Big time.
I don't think even his friends would give him a Friendship
Can
Award.
we send him to the gulags? Is that a thing? Can we do that?
The gulag?
The gulag.
Yeah.
I bet
is
you.
Is that a thing? What is that?
It's an old thing. In Russia, they send them to the
gulag.
The gulag.
Okay.
Okay, here's one. Donald Trump, MAGA or Malacca?
You know what? On the golf course, I'm going to say MAGA. Not because the segment's MAGA or Malaga, but I really think that listen. I really think that if I wanted to pair up playing golf with someone, that's the guy.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? From what I understand, he cheats a little bit, but he's actually a good player. He's a little.
We're so similar.
Exactly. Tell me you haven't kicked a golf ball in your life. Come on.
But you know how many times I've taken another golf ball out of my pocket, chucked it on the field, and grabbed my other one?
Isn't that how you play the game?
Oh, that's where it was. Sorry, guys, I didn't find it. I was going to take that, but since it was so close, I mean, I'm not going to take a stroke off.
Guys, come on.
I openly cheat in golf. I'm okay with it. I'm not that great to begin with, so you know what? Screw you.
Yeah, if you got a problem with it, too bad. Hey,
you and your etiquette.
Yeah, we've been together for 5 hours. I'm cheating. Yeah, we got to end this. This is it.
I'm 14 beers in. I'm cheating.
I'm cheating. Yeah.
You know what? You're the crappy friend that's letting me drink and drive the car.
That's
How about
true.
that?
Yeah.
Did anyone ever question that?
Yeah.
You're so worried about my cheating. What about your code of ethics?
Yeah. Where's that?
Yeah. Where's your
Is
code?
that in your bag? Oh, guess what? You can't have an extra club in your bag, can you?
Yeah. Are you doing a club count?
Jesus. What a crazy game.
You want your club count ready?
Last one. Here we go. He's everyone's favorite. We don't know where he is. It's Ed Jablonski. My guy.
Yes, the Ed Jablonski on the I-45.
There it is.
Up and down and down and up. Jablonski, just don't give. Episode 249 of The Sports Show. You're listening to us Podbean, Spotify, iTunes. I forgot to do it at the beginning, but it doesn't matter because I did it at the end. At Sports Show Podcast. Follow us. That's the Instagram channel. The Sports Show TV. Look for the blue and white logo. Thank you for you 2 new subscribers this past week. Appreciate you. Love you. Episode 249. It's one for the books. We got to shove it in the locker. We do got to hit the shower.
Have a great week. Have a great week.
Speaking of which, you know what I noticed?
What's that?
You never share the videos on Facebook. We need to talk to you about this. You like them, but you don't share them.
I don't share them, and I should. You're right. And to be honest, it's not because I don't want to. I'm bad at that stuff. I'm like, I don't think about ever sharing anything. I'm going to start doing it. You're right.
Well, because when I share that, there's a direct correlation between sharing, commenting, and subscriptions.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking?
What's that?
We start a sports show channel, and then that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking, like, I'm looking at all these. Okay.
The best is you said it quietly so that I could see, but the video's right on.
Yeah. No. See how I did with the camera?
Yeah. I still think they figured it out, just so you know. I still think they figured it out, just so you know. I'm still thinking about this guy breastfeeding before his wedding. Like,
how old is this guy?
Well,
Does it even matter once you're past 2?
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, one time I'm going to tell you a quick story. So I used to work at this financial institute. Okay. Opening up an account. And this lady had 2 kids. She must have been 11, and the little boy, I think, was like 4 or 5. He was like 3.5, 4 for sure. Now that I have one, I can kind of try to relate. All of a sudden, she's talking to me. She's asking me something about an account. The kid comes over, pulls down her shirt right in front of me, and just starts going at the teat like he was a thirsty little bear.
Did you get a peek first?
Dude, she had no problem. Like, she's like, this is like all I remember is just turning my body going, I can't believe this is happening. I'm typing away. I'm pretending like I'm not like frazzled by this whole thing. And she's just like, yeah, this is no problem.
Just giving her. That's okay. Listen, man, you know what? It's weird. I saw a funny video on those. It's different.
It is different.
Listen, breast milk's an acquired taste after a certain point. So here's the thing. I was watching one of those shorts. This is timely, but it was so funny. So there's this waitress, and it was a British comedy show. I don't know what it was from. Anyway, so there's a lady in a restaurant breastfeeding. So the server walks up and goes, "Excuse me, miss. Basically, can you stop?" And I'm not doing it justice. So the lady who's breastfeeding turns around and goes, "What? Is there a problem there's a problem that my son's breastfeeding?" I'm breastfeeding my son, right? And she goes, no, the problem is that you're blocking the view. And then it pans up and there's 4 guys behind her just sitting here watching. It was so funny.
No, I do it. I think it's great, but I mean, it's just you got to take the other person into consideration. Like I'm telling you, this kid obviously he doesn't care that I'm in the room. He pulls it, and she was like, no problem. She wasn't like, oh my goodness. She was like, yeah, more. Do you need? Yeah, this would.
Man, I thought Greeks were mama's boys.
No, buddy. I've seen it firsthand. And
like I don't.
We all love our mamas.
You know, we live in a society
Some more than others. Apparently,
we live in a society right now where nothing can be weird.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
like
true.
everything's just okay, but no, this is weird. Like you're messed up. Like you're actually messed up.
Yeah.
You're a grown man
You're
right
not
now.
allowed-
Like what are
you
you
can't
doing?
say these things.
What are you giving it a little nibble on top of it? Like what are we doing? You know?
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you say that? Dude, you're 35. You're about to get married. Take your mouth off your mom's teeth. Let's go. Episode 249.
Wow.
Boom.
That's gonna be a fun marriage. Yeah. Now that mom won't.
I'm pretty sure the
that
DJ
mom
just
won't,
made money.
That mom won't get involved in anything.
No, zero.
No.
Maybe that's what we do for Mugga Malaga next week.
Crazy mother-in-law.
You don't know me when it drop, then I'm mostly what they bopping. You can say what you got when it's Tuesday, I be locked in.
DJSW, we're Saved by the Bell by the Sports Show, playing every week. Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Sports Show TV, at Sports Show Podcast. Amy, do it. At Sports Show Podcast.